Hey, what's up, fellow Uchiha clan members? This is your boy Sasuke Uchiha back with another video. This happens to be this is the new version of, or updated version of my pure DDD deck list. As I was going to say before, I wanted to make an announcement, guys. At this point, my channel will no longer be called Sasuke Uchiha. Starting today, I will be going by the name, my channel will be going by the name of Operation Zark. That's the new, I gotta stop saying, that's the new name that my channel is gonna be going under. So please, keep supporting me as I continue to grow through my channels. And let's get in with this deck list, guys. So, starting with the three ofs, we run 3 DD Swirl Slime. DD Swirl Slime is your main monster for fusion summoning, and for your special summon of your other DD and or DDD monsters. He or whatever it is, I don't want to assume genders here, allows you to fusion summon from your hand. Then after fusion summoning from your hand, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon from your extra deck, from your hand, one DD or DDD monster by banishing this card from your graveyard, which is insane. Moving on, we do run 3 DD Necro Slime. DD Necro Slime, we run him sometimes for the synchro summon of other cards, sometimes for banishing to fusion. This card comes in handy in some cases, and usually you want to see him in your grave as much as possible because he does have that ability to banish from your graveyard to fusion summon. Next of the 3 ofs, we run 3 DD Lamia. DD Lamia allows you to special summon her by her own effect by sending one DD card or DDD monster and one dark contract from your deck to your from your hand, deck, or field to the graveyard. That is just tremendous. From the hand or field to the graveyard. Yeah, from the hand or field, from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard, which does come out tremendously. She is your main tuner of the deck. You always want to see her in your hand as much as possible because she helps you bring out all your synchro summon monsters. And I did try to make this deck heavily based on synchro summoning, even though a lot of people make decks based on heavily link summoning or fusion summoning or exe summoning. This deck is supposed to be, in my opinion, is mainly based on synchro summoning. The next 3 ofs that we run are your main boss monster of the deck, which is DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Your Ragnarok is essentially the card that you use to bring back your DDD monsters from your graveyard upon normal or special summon. Having him in your scale can prove to be advantageous because he actually helps out when you normal or special summon a DD monster. You can target one DD monster or DDD monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but take damage. And of course, the damage that your opponent would take, it becomes halved for the rest of this turn. Not bad. He is your main card for bringing out your your 2 rank 8 monsters. So he helps out tremendously in a lot of ways. And then not only that, but when normal special summon, you can special summon one DDD monster in your graveyard. Not only that, but you contribute one other DD monster, then banish one monster your opponent controls by targeting it. This deck is a really, really good one. Next of the three ofs, we run the main card to search out your dark contracts. Yes, of course, this is your DD Savant Capillary. Not only that, but if he is normal special summon, not only does he give you the ability to search out your dark contracts, he also gives you the ability to what's it called? To return one DD monster from your one other DD card you control, return it to the hand. So that actually does help out if you need to return a card, so this way you can reuse it later and prevent it from being destroyed, which helps out tremendously if he is normal or special summoned. And the last of the three ofs, we run the main milling card of the deck. Yes, you heard it right. This is your DD Savant Copernicus, or Copernicus, however you want to say his name. Essentially, when normal or special summon, you can send one DD or dark contract card from your deck to the graveyard, except DD Savant Copernicus. You can only use this effect of DD Savant Copernicus once per turn. Not only that, but if you have him in your scale, essentially, you can while this card is once per turn, while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate the activation of a spell card that would inflict damage to you, then destroy this card. That is actually pretty lit because this actually helps you with protecting your life points from cards if you don't already have Oracle King Diarch on the field, and that is just tremendous. Oh, by the way, mainly if you when you use this card, you mainly either want, there's only three cards you always want to mill. You want to mill your Swirl Slime, Necro Slime, and Ragnarok. Going into the two ofs, which is the only two of that we run in this deck, is your DD Savant Thomas. Your DD Savant Thomas allows, when he is no more special summon, you can target one DD monster in your pendulum zone. Destroy it, then special summon one level 8 DDD monster from your deck in defense position for the rest of this turn. Its effects, if any, are negated, and any battle damage your opponent takes becomes halved. Fair enough, but this card actually comes in handy when trying to make your Kali Yuga or your Hope Harbinger. Spoiler. But mainly you want to see him in your scale, so this way you can start recycling your DDD monsters and your DD monsters that go into your extra deck, which is a very good strategy to be using. Then we do run one DD Vice Typhon. We run him mainly because he is an upgraded version of your DD Necro Slime, which is very good, but at the same time kind of not. I mean, I'm iffy on this card. I'm still thinking about taking him out, throwing in like something like DDD Doom King Armageddon or something. So I'll let you guys know on if I still run this card or not. But if it is normal summon, you get a special summon a level 7 DDD monster. Special summon one level 7 DDD monster from your deck. So I guess that's good in a sense if you're running other level 7s. And closing up with two tuners, we run one DD Night Howl and one DD Ghost. We run Night Howl because Night Howl has the ability to, when normal summon, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So you normal summon this card, target, say, Vice Typhon, special Vice Typhon, then synchro into something big. And yeah, I do run some low level tuners, so I'm thinking about taking out some cards in my extra deck and running some higher level synchro monsters. And then of course, DD Ghost is a must staple in the deck, because your DD Ghost allows, essentially, you can target one DD. If this card is sent to the graveyard, You can target one DD monster or dark contract in your graveyard except DD Ghost. Send one card from your deck to the grave with that name. If this card is banished, you can target one of your banished DD monsters or dark contract cards except DD Ghost. Return it to the graveyard. So you banish this card for fusion summoning. You essentially get to add your Swirl Slime, Necro Slime, doesn't matter. You get to add it right back to your graveyard. And yeah, that's actually pretty good. And closing up on the monsters, we do run two, I guess you could call them hand traps, or some. They're just essentially two kaijus that run very well in the deck, that are not Gameciel. Like, I'm sorry, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Gameciel's the best, Gameciel's this, Gameciel's that. I don't give a crap about Gameciel. I find Gameciel kind of good, but I find this kaiju a lot better for this deck, which is 2 Radion, the multi-dimensional kaiju. Almost no one pays attention to this card. Everyone's going after the Godzilla freaking version of the kaijus. Some people are going after Gameciel, the sea turtle. I go after, when it comes to dark decks, I go after Radion, the multi-dimensional kaiju, because he essentially does the same thing as every other damn kaiju, which is essentially just tribute one of your opponent's monsters, special summon this card to your opponent's side of the field. Then if you have another one, if you have another kaiju, just special summon him right to your field, and then you could just hit them together head to head. That's the way I see it, guys. I mean, you can play Gameciel if you want, or you can actually boost into like a kaiju engine, throw 2 more kaijus in. It's technically up to you. I only run 2 Radions because this is a 40 card deck. That is all for the monsters. Keep in mind, this is the only deck that I run that actually uses traps, other than my Monarchs. Next, we do have the main searcher of the deck, which is your Dark Contract with the Gate. Dark Contract with the Gate, essentially just search out one DD or DDD card from your deck, and then during your standby phase, you actually take 1000 damage. Not that bad. I mean, it is good. Continuous card effects, so that actually does stay on the field. In case you need extra fusion summoning, and these are all of the Dark Contracts spell cards that we run. If you actually need more fusion summoning, you run Dark Contract with the Swamp King. You run it at 1 because I'm running it at 1 because I find 2 bricky. Essentially, you get a fusion summon 1 fiend type fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or side of the field as fusion material. You can only use this effect of Dark Contract with the Swamp King once per turn. If fusioning a DD fusion monster this way, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as fusion material once per turn. Take 1000 damage. The damage doesn't really matter that much. I mean, you can easily get around the damage. And then for the for draw power, we run 3 Allure of Darknesses, 2 Pot of Desires, and 1 Pot of Acquisitiveness. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Why are you running Pot of Acquisitiveness? Just run 3 Pot of Desires. I hate that idea. I run 1 Pot of Acquisitiveness to shuffle back anything that I've banished by my Allure of Darknesses that I needed. Pot of Desires, just draw 1, and I most likely will be banishing the next one. Essentially, if you don't already know what these cards do, Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish 1 dark monster. You don't have a dark monster to banish, you send your entire hand to the graveyard. Pot of Desires, banish the top 10 cards of your deck face down, draw 2. Pot of Acquisitiveness, target 3 banished monsters, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1. That is your drawing engine right there. That's what you run for draw power. And I don't see anything better than these 6 cards. That's the way I see it in this deck. And then of course, every DDD deck has to have these 2 cards. You cannot finish up your spells and traps without these 2 cards. Your 1-for-1 and your Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial mainly for for milling your Swirl Slime, Necro Slime, Lamia, and or your Ragnarok. And then your 1-for-1 for bringing out, say, your Lamia or your Kepler. That's all for the spells, guys. We only run 3 traps, which are Dark Contract with the Witch, Solemn Strike, and then of course Solemn Warning. Now, we use Dark Contract with the Witch for boosting the attack of all of our Fiend type monsters during our opponent's turn by 1000, and of course by discarding 1 Dark Contract or 1 DDD or DD monster from our hand to destroy 1 card on the field. Solemn Strike to negate the summons or the effects of monsters that would activate, and then of course Solemn Warning to negate any spell, trap, monster effect that would be activated, or any effect that includes special summoning a monster. And that is all for your main deck, guys. Keep in mind that this is a 40 card deck. This deck is really useful in every way. I am currently thinking about taking out the 2 Radions, but we'll have to see. Either way, going into your why do I keep on saying going into your extra deck, we run 1 DDD Duo Dawn King Kali-Yuga. When he hits the field, everything on the field is negated. So, in a sense, like, your opponent just, like, cannot activate anything, and any activated card effects that would activate every time he would special summon. For this turn only, everything is just negated. Of course, you can detach 1 X's material, wipe clean the entire, all of the, spell and trap zones, which is extremely good because, yeah, your opponent will be running a lot of back row stuff, and just say you get rid of an infinite impermanence upon doing so, you just literally screwed your opponent over. Red Reboot doesn't matter, your opponent just can't activate anything for shit. Then you do run 1 number 38 Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. This card is so good, like, he is a must, an absolute must in every deck that can hit him. You always want to have this card, and you either want to have him in your scales or in not scales. You either want to have him in your extra deck or siding, because this card is tremendous. Essentially, when your opponent activates any kind of effect, spell, trap, monster, just quick effect, negate the activation. If you do, attach it as Xyz material. If your opponent happens to get rid of an Xyz monster you control, essentially by this card's effect, you can target the face-up Xyz monster. You can target 1 face-up Xyz monster you control. It gains attack equal to one of the ones that was destroyed. So say your opponent destroys your Kali-Yuga, and you have Hope Harbinger, effect target Hope Harbinger. Essentially, Kali-Yuga's attack gets to Hope Harbinger, which will boost Hope Harbinger up to about 6,500. And of course, you can protect your monsters by detaching 1 Xyz material and changing the attack target to this card if your opponent declares an attack. That is tremendous. That is insane. That's all for the Xyz. Going into the Synchros, we run 1 Formula Synchron, mainly because when this card is successfully Synchro summoned, you essentially get 1 draw power, 1 draw, and you get a Synchro during your opponent's turn. That is a good card effect. Uh, we do run one material material metal marcher. Now I know what you're thinking. Why the hell are you running this? We are running this because you can target one tuner in your graveyard, special summon it in defense, but negate its effects. Also, any synchro monster that was synchro summoned using this card as material, it is treated as a synchro tuner uh, while face up on the field. So that actually does help out a lot because you do run some cards that require a tuner synchro monster. So that actually kind of helps in some cases. I'm thinking about taking it out or taking out the next card, which is Stardust Assault Warrior. This card essentially, when this card is synchro summoned, while you control no other monsters, you can target one junk warrior in your graveyard. One junk monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. You can only use this effect of Stardust Assault Warrior once per turn. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. I guess the only reason why I'm running it is for the piercing battle, and that's just about it. Next, we do run. We are running one DDD Gus King Alexander because this is your level 7 that you use to bring out your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and of course your Christian Phoenix. And of course, when normal summon, when this card is face up on the field and you happen to normal summon or special summon another monster, essentially by this card's effect, you get to why do I keep on saying you get to special summon a level 4 or lower DD monster in your graveyard by targeting it. Then we do have a DDD Curse King Siegfried that we run. We only run one of him. This card is essentially good because when you actually have this card on the field, you can negate the effects of one. You can target one face-up spell or trap card on the field. That target has its effects negated until the end of the next standby phase. And then of course you can only use this effect of DDD Curse King Siegfried once per turn. If this card is destroyed and by battle or card effect, and sent to the graveyard, gain 1,000 life points for each Dark Contract card you control. That is pretty good. The only reason why you run it is mainly because of the negation effect. We do run one Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This is a must in this deck. You usually always want to have your Crystal Wing because Crystal Wing essentially just helps out with so much in this deck. You won't even be able to comprehend how much of a good card this is until you actually start playing it. Mainly because this card really does negate your opponent's monster's effects, and not only that, but you can destroy that monster, and then this card gains that attack, so that helps out tremendously in so many ways. And I just love the artwork. Look at that artwork, dude. Just damn. Yeah, oh, sorry for my cussing, guys. But yeah. And then, of course, one Crystal Needle Fiber to actually prevent your opponent from chaining anything. So when this card is synchro summoned, essentially just destroy all spells and banish all spells and traps your opponent controls and in their graveyard. So your opponent tries to essentially use anything as any spells and traps in his graveyard, essentially just negate, or he has any card spells and traps on the field, just banish them all. And that's actually a freaking good effect. We do run one Flame King Genghis. I am currently trying to get my hands on a high Flame King Genghis, but this card comes in handy because when you actually normal or special summon a DD monster, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it back to the field. And of course, when this card is destroyed by a battle or by an opponent's card effect, you get to add one dark contract card from your graveyard back to your hand. We do run one DDD Oracle King D'Arc mainly because if you actually happen to go up against a deck that forces you to stall, you actually want to have this card on the field as much as possible because it helps you gain your life points back instead of taking it. We do run one Beowulf mainly because Beowulf, with a combo that you use, you would have to check out one of my other videos. With a combo that you use with this deck, if you're going Master Rule 3, this card will help out tremendously because this card, essentially, you get another material for rank 8 Exes. Not only that, but during your standby phase, you can destroy all spells and traps in the spell and trap zones. I actually mistaken. Kali Yuga actually destroys all spells and traps on the field. And then, of course, this card essentially, with this card effect, you can, any DD monster that attacks a defense position monster does piercing battle damage. And then, of course, the last fusion of the deck, we do run one DDD Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok. This card helped me out in so many duels. When this card attacks, you can actually bounce one DD monster or dark contract card back from your field back to your hand. Then essentially just nuke your opponent's field, and that is a completely tremendous effect because when you use that monster's effect, you essentially gain that ability to you take that monster's, you take your second opponent's monster, not the one that you're battling, and equip it to this monster as an equipped spell, and this monster gains attack equal to that monster's attack. So you actually get to boost this monster's attack up as many times as possible each time that you attack, and each time that you take another one of your opponent's monsters, monsters. Sorry. We do proxy one DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh. I'm sorry, this is a crappy proxy, but I am currently trying to make a good proxy. But essentially, when this card is destroyed, you get a special summon one DD or DDD monster, I do believe, from your extra deck back to the field. From your graveyard back to the field. And when this card is special summoned from your extra deck, essentially, when this card is link summoned, you actually get to place 2 DD monsters into your pendulum scales. So that actually does help out tremendously. But you take 1,000 life points of damage. And of course, the last card that we run in the extra deck, which is coming to the concluding of this video, and of course this is a proxy. Need to get a real version, or 2 real versions, is Heavy Metal Foe Electromite. This card, because this deck has a lot of pendulum monsters, as you can tell, with your Copernicuses, your Keplers, your Ragnaroks, your all your majority of your monsters are pendulum monsters. Hardly ever pendulum summoning with this deck. You don't even pendulum with this deck. This deck doesn't use its pendulum monsters for pendulum summoning. But either way, this card actually does help out when trying to get more draw power, and essentially just helps out with a lot of other things. So that's all for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, guys, starting today, my channel will no longer be called Sasuke Uchiha. It will be Operation Zark now, because I am modeling it after my favorite card, and of course my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh hero that was once a hero but turned villain, Supreme King Zark. Yeah, guys, this is my favorite card right now. I just love this card. I am currently trying to make a deck with it, so I'm gonna be trying a lot of different things. So please keep supporting me the way that you guys do, and I'll see you guys back here on Monday. No, tomorrow, because my I need to do a tutorial video which I had forgotten to do yesterday, and I feel horrible for not doing that. So please keep an eye out for that, guys. See you guys later.